Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BG Show. We are here to talk about episode 8 of House of the Dragon. There's only 2 episodes left, right? Two. And
Two left.
we're here to talk about number 8. It was a big one. It was, in your opinion, you were telling me your favorite one. So let's get right into it. We always talk about like the big bullet points. Obviously, another time jump. Big, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen the episode, come back and watch it. Viserys is dead at the end of the episode. Another major character off the board. Um, my
Poor
favorite
Viserys.
character, Corlys, is dead. Off
No,
screen.
no, he's
Oh
not
no,
dead.
he's not dead. Okay, never mind. His brother is definitely dead though. His younger brother got his head chopped off. Probably, I'm gonna think a lot of people's favorite scene. Like if you're a casual fan, that's probably like your favorite scene right now, one of them. But yeah, I guess give me your overall big picture thoughts and what was like the book different, stuff like that.
Best episode of the series, and I know I said that about maybe episode 6 or 5 off the top of my head. But this one, easily best episode of the series, 10 out of 10. Up there, not in terms of wow moments of like a 10 out of 10 Game of Thrones episode, but a 10 out of 10 episode. They stuck to the book pretty closely. And remember, the book is supposed to be written by the Maesters, and they do lie. So this is supposed to be the truth, more or less. And I don't know if they're changing little things more or less because of TV, or if they are doing it just because they want to do it. That remains to be seen. Like Daemon's death, it changed a little bit, but overall, it happens like that. I mean, they chop off his head and then they feed him to a dragon. They feed him to Cyrax, Rhaenyra's dragon. It doesn't really go down like that in the book, but I mean in the show. But the fact that how they did it, fucking flawless. I mean, Viserys, Patty Constantine, he deserves an Emmy. If not for the series, maybe not for the series. Matt Smith, I think, is doing the best job. But for that episode, definitely the MVP. All the Viserys fans out there, he got a very nice send off, the best that you can get. He got his nice family gathering, his nice family moment. We finally saw it. You saw him bitching about it last week. Never had a family dinner. We got the family dinner, but fucking great episode. They're really, really fucking in. They're in the dance timeline now. I know your biggest pet peeve is, and I'm sure this is going to be most people, but the change of the children already. But starting right off the top, you know why they did it. I mean, Aegon is a crazy rapist fuck.
So
They
this,
don't want to look at doing that.
yeah, this is not even so much critique of this show. Bigger critique of more so maybe because I'm just a casual fan, but I think it was honestly, I had to spend a lot of time thinking about which blonde kid was which blonde kid. It wasn't until I saw the eye patch and I'm like, oh, okay, obviously that's Aemon. But the kid who plays Aemon doesn't, I don't think they looked because Aegon was much lankier and kind of almost like a looked like Gumby when he was younger. And now he's kind of much pudgier. So I didn't think it was him. I thought it was the other one. And it was only when I saw the eye patch that then I realized, no, that's not him. I was trying to figure it out. That could just be me. I was gonna,
No, they definitely don't look the best. Younger
but
Aegon.
I
Or
was thinking like just they should have casted. I'd rather the younger actors look slightly older and no recast into this than I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just think the recast of these, of the children kind of threw me off a little bit. But other than that, it wasn't my favorite episode. It was definitely good. We'll see now with how Viserys officially gone. He was like anything positive was really him. So now with him off the table, it's just going to be mayhem. But I'm trying to think what else happened.
I'm glad you recognize that. It's going to be mayhem. And remember, in the Thrones universe, episode 9, the penultimate episode,
Wow. So
always crazy.
one of my questions is, it's like I would say like at least 80% and 90% of people who are watching are pretty much in support of Rhaenyra and Daemon. And I'll say, do you think you would set up for a better show, or does it not matter for them to set it up more to be like a 50-50 morally? That way, like make it really ambiguous. Because it's not really that morally ambiguous right now. Like there's clearly one good family, one bad family, even though, no one's perfect. Is it more 50-50 in the book, or is it kind of accurate like this?
It's definitely more neutral in the book. In the show, they are definitely tilting it in favor, in my opinion, of Team Black, Rhaenyra, and Daemon and Co. The
Yeah.
thing, the thing about it in the book, remember, the Maester who's writing it is trying to show themselves and them, in good light, and obviously themselves not get killed or be punished for, because you never know what's going to happen with the current king. And I'm not going to say because that might be a spoiler or so. So you do have to keep that into consideration. The the thing is though, which the thing that they're slightly changing from the book, or it's really not that they're expressing fully, is they made Aegon full out very quickly like he's pretty fucking crazy. Like he drinks, he likes to get his fuck on, and he will not stop. And you saw the servant girl, like if that was Cersei, the first thing that I thought when I saw that was, is she going to kill her? Because that's what we're so used to seeing in like a bad queen. And because they were portrayed as Allison as the bad person, that's what I'm automatically thinking. And mind you, the whole faith, and we'll have to get into that. It's because if you remember in the Game of Thrones, Ned's accusation is basically the same as Allison's accusation. Joffrey is a bastard. The throne doesn't belong to him. She's basically making the same accusation, but we like Ned, so we rooted for him.
Right. Right. So, so what's his name? Corliss's brother.
Vaemond.
So Vayman comes in, probably easily the dumbest. And this is, I don't even know if it's just they're trying to make him look dumb or, this is kind of like the problem they have is, so many characters. It's almost like, do you want characters to do dumb shit and just go along with it, or do we want to show where everyone is smart? Because what he did is so stupid that it's almost like it was entertaining, but it was also like, why would you ever do that? But he probably thought he was high enough up where no one would ever kill him like that. Obviously, you can't
Well,
call the king, the future queen, a whore. Like, what did he think was going to? Such a bad strategic move. I mean, literally, his brother is almost dead, maybe confirmed dead. If he just shuts his mouth, at the very least, he'll be Lord of Driftmark, right? He'll be the head of Driftmark.
no, Luke was. That's what was his. That was his whole protest, is that Luke would be the head of Driftmark and he
Who's
would get
Luke?
nothing.
The second son
No, yeah, Rhaenyra's second son,
would get
Luke.
Driftmark.
Correct.
Who would he be married to?
Well, they exchanged it so that he would be married to Rhaena in that whole
Rhaena,
situation.
the older one of Damon's kids.
Younger daughter, I believe. Baela would be queen with Jace, and Rhaena would rule Driftmark with Luke.
So he would be his stepdad and his father-in-law.
Vaemond.
No, no, no. So because Damon's stepson is Rhaenyra's kids now, right? Because they're married.
Right.
Luke,
Correct.
and Luke would also be marrying his daughter, so he'd be his father-in-law and his stepdad.
Correct.
Okay. No, yeah. It's not even like a morality thing. You just have to like think about it, like just to learn family
Well,
trees. But the show makes a lot more sense. I feel like the show might be better the second time you watch it, because then you'll understand at least I'll understand the family tree
true. That will
going into the
definitely help.
show.
And remember, they're fudging a timeline. Like right now, where they ended that episode, they basically are in the year 129. That whole thing with Damon is in the year 126. So they fudged a lot of timeline stuff just to fit it in there, and it's okay. I mean, you start off the episode; it starts off really good. Damon is fucking, digging up a dragon egg. That was fucking cool. Then you get the whole Vayman protest with Rhaenys, and like he should know right then and there, like you fucking lost, like it's over. And he tried to scheme with Alicent and Otto. We saw that. He thought Viserys was out of the picture. And this is why I think this whole episode was so fucking powerful. Is he comes to King's Landing, they get the fucking letter from I believe it was Baela from Driftmark, saying what's gonna happen. Daemon, Rhaenyra, the kids, they all go to fucking King's Landing with Rhaenys. They go and they have the nice moment in the courtyard with the heart tree with the weirwood, basically saying, "What do you want?" Because Rhaenyra doesn't quite get Rhaenys, and I don't think a lot of people do. I have people ask me, like, I just don't get her, and she just tells it like it is, and that's just the reality. Because we also saw like she's
That's
going to
Corlys's
back
wife,
Rhaenyra.
right?
Correct.
And that's Viserys' younger sister,
No, older cousin.
older cousin.
Rhaenys is Viserys's cousin and Daemon's cousin. Her
How?
father, Rhaenys' father, brother was Viserys's father and
Was the
Daemon's
king.
father. Correct, and Daemon, who's their brother.
So
So
why
they're
did
all
she
brothers.
think she would be king or queen? Why would she be queen then?
That's why they have the whole Great Council, is because she's the older person, and
Well, why would, but like, why did they say she was the queen that never was? Why would she ever be the queen if her dad wasn't the king?
because she was skipped over because the realm, picked Viserys instead of Rhaenys as to be the queen
No, but
after Jahar.
what do you mean skipped over? It would have went from Viserys' father to Viserys. Why would it ever be her?
It went from Jaharis, and all his fucking kids died, basically, all of them,
Okay.
and the realm chose between Rhaenys, who was Aemon's daughter, or
Oh,
Viserys, who was Balon's son. And
easy choice,
Balon,
Viserys.
well, Viserys has done a good job, so I agree. And and basically the whole point was like you saw Rhaenyra comes to his bedside, makes the claim, "I'm begging for you, father," because she's a dead woman. And you saw that whole interaction when she first comes with Daemon when they're sitting. And the first thing that I'm thinking about is Rhaenyra and Daemon. They really do like each other. They're always holding each other. They're touching each other. And then they start, and it's a cold conversation, and it goes nowhere. You saw that. And then Daemon says to her, "What happened to all the Targaryen heraldry? And why is it replaced with all the faith?" And a lot of people, I don't think people realize, and she was wearing the 7-pointed star. And if you do remember in Game of Thrones, the faith and the crown went at it, Cersei and the High Sparrow. When Aegon and everybody first came to Westeros, the faith hates the Targaryens. So like it's well known, like Maegor is shown as in a horrible, horrible light because the faith and the Citadel and the High Towers, oh, we don't get into it there. They hate Targaryens. They just don't like them. So that's another big thing. So like he did not like that he replaced it with all the faith shit. Viserys finally comes, and that walk, it was emotional. It was a very big moment. He's coming to protect his daughter, and actually, ironically, before we got on this, which I thought was probably the coolest thing I saw, but when he drops his crown on the little walk up there, after he shrugs off the King's Guard to help him, Daemon steps up and he lets him because it's all about family with Viserys, and we saw that with the end of the dinner.
Wait, when he drops the crown?
Yeah, this was
That
all
was
that
that
was
was
improv.
yeah, that
That
was
was
improv. Yeah, improv. I was gonna say.
amazing. Got so lucky, drops the crown, perfectly done. Continued the scene. He sets it on him, and they go on. Vaemon makes his bitch ass fucking protest. Obviously, doesn't stand a chance at that point. Daemon takes out Dark Sister. Let him keep his tongue. Viserys was going to take out his
So
nugget.
is he the best? He's the best knight like in the whole world, or like is that why everyone's scared to go at him?
At the current moment, Daemon is, I don't know if he's the best warrior in the realm at the moment. He's probably top 3, but he's
And he's
got
got a dragon on top of that.
take out the dragon, but he's also got Dark Sister. Like the Valyrian steel swords are on another level. Daemon with Dark Sister is probably the best warrior in the realm right now.
Better than Jaime Lannister.
With Dark Sister, yes. Without Dark Sister, he probably would lose.
Interesting.
Yeah, he would probably get beat by a
So is
couple
being
people.
a good knight just like a rich kid sport? Because it seems like if you're just get training from a young age, you'll be good.
Knighthood is like a
But
big
they don't have the grit.
knighthood's like a big deal in Westeros because if you're like I said, if you're like you've heard me say, if you're a second son, you inherit nothing. If you go and you earn your spurs and you become a knight, you can join a house and you'll get pay and you'll be
You know who's the
compensated.
second son? Sander. Fucking wench. Yeah, keep going.
Sander Clegane too. So fuck all Sanders. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, fuck them. Yeah, no, we like that's what the whole point that we're getting. So like, and you saw it, Vaemon inherited nothing. He literally was about to get nothing, and he tried to get something, and he got his fucking head cut off. Stupid fucking wench. And like that's what happens.
What's her
Like
name was happy, right? She was like, that's good for her. He was a
Rhaenyra,
pain in the ass, and she didn't have to do anything, and now he's dead.
I'm sure Corliss won't be happy, but he'll take
Oh yeah,
Viserys.
like that's what I want to know because that was the coincidence is that Damon had no, well maybe he did know. What if that happens and Corliss is either in the room or not fucked up? What if he just, you know what I mean? That's
It
what.
happens regardless. Dame when he stepped out of line, like he was a dead man. When Viserys got up and took out the dagger, like Damon knew, done. And after that, and he finally, and you saw it
Does
before
he
the
have a
whole
dragon?
who.
Vayman.
No, fucking wench. If he
Uh,
had one, he wouldn't. They'd be fighting already. They, and you saw it before. He tells Otto he wants to have his dinner, and you saw he lesions all over him. He's got the bandages. He's wearing the mask. He looks like shit, but he's hanging on for dear life.
oh, the
We
mask is
finally get
epic.
pretty good, I guess, for a king for back
Like
then.
Two
It's
Face.
old, much nicer than Two Face. Then he finally gets his nice family dinner. We spoke about this last week. They've never had a fucking family dinner, and like they finally had one, and it was a real fucking dinner. And like this dinner was like a big deal in my opinion because you saw a lot of things. Aegon being the jerk that he was, you already know that he's raping girls, like his serving wench and his serving maids, and like Helena walks in. Where's Diana? She's supposed to dress the children. So they're telling you that Aegon and Helena have children. They have 3 children. So
Wait,
I can tell you
Aegon or
that
Aemon?
Aegon,
So the oldest son married the sister.
correct, and they have children already. Yeah, Jaharis, Jahara, and Maelor. They'll probably be introduced next week because they did say where's the children. And if you go on the official guide, their names are on there on HBO. So and he's poking fun at Jace, like, do you know how to use your dick? And this is after Viserys finally gets his happy family moment. They're laughing, they're smiling. This is what it was all about, and they could really live like this if they just set aside their differences and said, "We're the House of the Dragon. Fuck you. We're going to do what we want. We're going to live life like us. We're going to be happy and be a big family and call it a day." Clearly, you saw, like I've said before, the tension. It just passed from generation to generation, and you saw after Viserys goes, this is the main thing, and this is a huge part of the book, is the strong toast. And I don't know if enough people are picking up on it, but because their last name is Strong, and obviously it's a way to describe someone, you're strong. The strong toast is like a big deal in the book, and they did a really fucking good job on that. And I thought what was really funny is Aemon gives the toast, and Helena is clapping, but she didn't understand like what it was actually going on. Like they got completely ethered and their shit rocked. And then they kind of go for their scrap. And Jace, he punches Aemon. Aemon fucking eats the punch like nothing, like does nothing. Aegon throws Luke on the table basically face first. And basically they say break it up. That's why they can't with these little kids. They don't want 12-year-olds fighting every fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah, the fighting is kind of whack. I don't know. I feel like if I had a dragon, I would not be giving a shit. But I guess it makes sense. My question is, and I guess okay, so I was thinking this is like my big brain kind of, you know, thought. The show is kind of like every single episode, every single scene, every single moment, everything is just who's inheriting the throne, who's inheriting the throne, the drama of inheriting the throne, the drama of inheriting the throne. And it's like in Game of Thrones, there was always like the overall issue was you knew the big issue was like, okay, the Night King, not yeah, the Night King is coming. And then there's also the
Well,
throne. And then it was also like Daenerys. Eventually the storylines were gonna, intersect, right? But along the way, you would get just kind of just cool scenes, just cool shit, right? Someone would die here, someone would die here, and it wouldn't really affect anything, but it would be cool. There really isn't any like normally I don't like filler episodes. I feel like this show needs some filler. It needs some just
well,
throw in some scenes that don't like this is what it needs some scenes where Damon is just killing people for no reason or just doing cool shit. Like it just needs cool shit.
well,
Not every scene is like some heavy conversation. And maybe that's
I
the show, but
I agree with you on that. I do agree with you. And like I said this before, and I'll say this even about this episode, and I gave it a 10 out of 10, is there has been no like quote unquote Red Wedding or Battle of Blackwater or Battle of Bastards or just like a crazy battle or a crazy insane, fight with like the Hound at the end with Bree. Like there
If you were
hasn't
gonna
been anything
like,
like
yeah,
that.
if you were gonna send
But
someone one
but
clip of the show to convince them to watch it, there wouldn't be like there would maybe the head chopped off scene. Like, what would you send them?
I'll get back to you on that. But I do want to just say is, and you said like the whole overall theme, like Game of Thrones. The first scene in Game of Thrones is three random guys going out in the wall and meeting the White Walkers and getting chopped off. You don't really see them for a while, and they did this. They made this a very good part of in this particular episode. Is Rhaenyra asks Viserys about the dream? Is it real? Because she even says to him, like, "Why did you pick me as the heir if you wanted to keep the throne united to fight this foe?" Because she knows picking her was going to divide them, and I think she officially came to terms with that, and that's why she was so, tearful and heartful and so open with him. Not just because she's her father, just because it's such a heavy burden. She even used the word burden. That's the only word to really describe it. To be like, I'm the only other person in the world that knows that the White Walkers are going to come any moment and completely fucking kill us. So we have to be together and we have to get ready to fight. Only her and Viserys know. Then later in the episode, on his, unfortunate deathbed, he thinks he's talking to Rhaenyra and it's Alicent. And, says the prince that was promised and the others from the north. And he says Aegon because, Aegon, there's so many fucking Aegons in this fucking world, but she's referred to Aegon the Conqueror who first did the dream. So in this particular story, the viewer is the only one that knows about the White Walkers and the threat at the current moment. In terms of the story itself, the characters, other than Rhaenyra and Viserys, or now at this point, Rhaenyra, only she knows. And the story, as you can see, like you said before, because there's no war and because Viserys was a peacetime king, it's all about succession and land and titles and the petty lord and this and that. That's going to eventually end sooner or later, as you can imagine, because there's a reason why they haven't given us any of those crazy, cool, random fights or anything like that, is because the war that is coming is 2 years of just crazy fucking shit. And it's going to, like, so far, this has just literally been 4, 5, 6 episodes of just back filler. Like, it's just one long back filler.
Yeah, and the dragons look good, CGI looks good, practical stuff looks good. I don't know.
Viserys, man, when he
Disney's
took off
always
his face mask,
yeah,
when he
Disney's always crying in their pants about, oh, it's so hard to find good CGI, blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, like I don't know, because HBO seems to be doing fine, and
he
Amazon's
had no eye.
yeah.
He looked at me, the only thing where he looked bad, my only big critique of last night was when he was getting ready with Otto and he was, I guess, with the little wrap around his neck. That was a horrible stunt double or a horrible CGI. He looked sort of like a golem, like really bad skeletal. Like that was, they could have done a better
Oh,
job
when
at
he was
making.
dying.
Yeah, they could have done a better job making him look thin. But they
Even
had
that
the
was
lesions
fine.
on his face, his fingernails, his teeth. They did a great fucking job on him. But you saw, Luke, Jace, they're all in a weird spot. They're in the tourney ground. They see Aemon, like he's a warrior. And they really made a big difference about the show, making it about the kids. Like you saw, like Jace, he wants to learn High Valyrian. And where Aemon's like, I want to be a warrior. Aegon, he wants to fuck around and just chill.
Yeah. So we have 2 more episodes. This was the longest episode of the season confirmed. So maybe, I mean, there's still, I mean, it was an hour and 15 minutes, so you can still have like an hour and 12.
Well, they honestly could have gone longer, but I think they did a really nice job. And the other main thing that a lot of people need to see that I think is very evident too is they actually kind of had a nice rekindling Rhaenyra and Alicent at the end. They actually kind of truthfully really had a heartfelt moment. Like she gives her toast, "You're the future queen," and she meant it. She was sincere. Then the ending with Viserys happens and is going to twist her mind.
Right. So trying to think final thoughts.
Well, did you expect? I know it's such a quick change, obviously, and you didn't have any, previous stuff. Did you expect Aegon to go from like playful little drunken bastard to like, rapist? Like, what did you expect of like the change? I think Aemon was
Not that
pretty.
surprising, yeah.
Aemon, doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me though is I think that this sort of goes back to showing like Team Black versus Team Green. Like they're making Jason, Luke, and Joff, and we saw Aegon and Viserys the second, which that's a really really big deal. I completely forgot about that for a second. They're making them seem like much better kids, and that's like a good reflection on them as parents.
Yeah.
Like Allison smacked him. Like I think she is trying, and like the whole Faith of the Seven, like you would think you would care more. Like Helena seems like a pretty decent girl, and Aemon will do what he's told. He's just a little bit of a warrior.
Mhm.
But Viserys, man, led the way all the way. That walk, fucking
Yeah,
icon.
this is gonna probably. I mean, he's already a pretty big actor. I don't know what else he's in, but this will probably propel him to get some even bigger roles now.
Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking, was, and George said it himself too, that, he was a much better Viserys than book Viserys, and he really, really was. In the book Viserys, and mind you, this isn't his fault, this is the showrunner. They made him much older and made him way more older and decrepit, blah 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 blah. Because I've told you in the beginning when the story really starts, he's like 28, Damon's 24. You know, they made him obviously in this like I guess starting in like his 40s, and they kind of made it look like he ended in his 60s. Is in the book he's just sort of like a nice, playful kind of drunken guy that's kind of just like a happy-go-lucky guy. Here, he took that to a whole other level, and I think that was like a big thing. And I think everybody likes Viserys, and because the only other Viserys that we know is Danny's brother, and like now that a nice one, and now we have a baby one also, it like gives a good meaning to the name now. Like we have a new Joffrey, or now we have technically three Joffreys in our story.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think I have any other thoughts. It was a good episode. I'm obviously trying to stay spoiler free for the following two. Obviously, something is going to happen, but
Well, did you watch the trailer or no?
no,
Of course you didn't.
no way. I'm going in
Well,
blind next week, and
well, I will leave my 2 cents on that. Being that it is episode 9, a penultimate episode, if they stick to the books, which I think they will based on the trailer and the way how they have it set up right now, this is going episode 9 and 10 is going to be what you have been craving for, but it's not going to be filler by any means. It's going to be like, holy fucking shit, this is what I've been waiting for.
yeah.
That's all I say. The dance is on.
All right, guys. Well, we'll end it there. Thanks again for watching. We'll get you covered on the next two, and stick around for a lot more content. Thanks again for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.